So I realized that I've made a mistake already by merging these the safety background with all of these frame 1, 2, 3, 4 backgrounds. Because if I want to keep zooming in on that building but have the X's and check marks be the same size but the building is zooming in, they still have to be on separate layers. I can still try to press Control Z to go back through and undo those merges. So we'll see if that, I think you can set the limit of number of undos in preferences. Preferences, performance, and you'll see the number of history states. You can increase the size of this if you'd like to have more ability to go back when you press Control Z. So let me just zip back to keep those separate still. And it's in each of these check marks. I think I have to build off of this checkmarks 3 copy layer now, that it's the most complete layer. I won't really need these to be separated. These other ones are fine to be merged. So I've corrected my error. I've got my background copy, which is ready to be duplicated and enlarged. And I've got my checkmarks 3 copy layer, which is ready to be also duplicated and X's added to it this time. So again, Control Alt and drag this up in order to duplicate that layer. And this one I'm going to use the move tool on and just start dragging a little bit up from my previous position. Hold down Alt, which centered its growing point, and let go, press the green check mark, and that's ready to be merged with whatever checkmarks 3 copy does. Let me just leave this down here. Checkmarks 3 copy gets to be duplicated as well, and this time I'm going to start drawing X's on it. I want to change the color though, and I want to change the color to not to black, but to this my darkest gray here, which is almost black. Maybe I'll get a little lighter than that, just so it's most of it is in a lighter type of gray. So press OK, and I am gonna make some X's, starting here, here, and here. Let's do 5, just to be kind of balanced. Okay, so I'm going to do all of my X actions at once before I do all of my, I think, background zooming. So I'm going to duplicate that layer, and I'm going to continue with my X's. There, there, there. Duplicate that, which you do by Control Alt and drag up from a layer. Let's delete that one. Continue my X, 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 and just start on one side of each of those. All right, duplicate that. A little bit more up from that. A bit more up from that. Continue doing this until you have all the shapes that you want. Feel free to always test to see which layer is the most usable layer, the most recent maybe adjusted layer. Like layer 4 copy right now, if I didn't know whether layer 4, layer 1 copy 4 or layer 1 copy 3 were the bigger ones, I can reduce the visibility of layer 1 copy 4, and I can see that it got smaller. So this is the bigger one, and it's that one that I'm going to duplicate and relocate to here and increase the size of that a little bit. Just increase the size, holding Alt to center that, let go of my mouse, let go of Alt, and green check mark, and then I'm going to do that again at this one. Increase the size, hold down Alt, let go of my mouse, let go of Alt, green check mark. All right. So what I've done was included a background layer, a foreground layer at each point. I'm about to merge all of them except the last two. We realize that we still need this to be independent from that in order to further modify it, and this one independent from this in order to further modify that. So Control click to select more than one layer, and then Control E to merge those. Click, Control click, merge, select, merge, select, merge, select, merge. Select those, and we get to merge those finally. Okay, so let's see how this is looking. To preview it again, go to File, Save for Web. This is the way you would also save it. It's just we haven't gotten to the point of completing it yet. And I'm going to first click on Animate. I think I decided the frame delay of 0.2 was fine. And then down here, you click on this Earth, or the web, the internet, to see it in the World Wide Web. Okay, so we're getting this steady progression of zooming towards the architecture and multiple check marks and X's being added. And it's not as sophisticated as it would have been nice to be. Each of those X's might have been nice to have been drawn independent from one another. They're all happening simultaneously. That seems a little hokey to me, but anyway, nevertheless, it's working. So let's close that and get back to animating. I'll do a bunch of steps to further this process, and you'll see what it'll become a very rich texture, and then I'll start recording again when I'm ready to show you some final last steps to saving. Okay, so I've done a bunch of modifications. I've got a ton of layers. I've got to merge these into these common layers, and I really should rename these towards frames. You don't have to if you can make sense of it, but I'm going to just for the sake of this video. So I know it's a little bit tedious, but I just want to show you how quick it can be. I'm just renaming them by the number of frame they are. So double click on the word, change it, double click on the word, change it, double click on the word, change it, etc. Okay, so I'm done now, and I'm going to just preview it. Let's go to File, Save for Web, Animate, and is looping, the frame delay 0.2, click on the World Wide Web, and it seems like it's working nicely. There's a hiccup. I just noticed a bunch of check marks happened at once instead of gradually being drawn right there. Again, it's about to happen right there. So I don't know what happened. I might have I think I identified that it was in the 20th frame. Now if you click and drag on these eyeballs, you can make more than one layer disappear at once. That's a convenient way. Rather than clicking on each of them, just click and drag down that list. Same with going up, down. Okay, it's easy to click and drag on those. Now, so I think it was layer 20. You'll notice that at layer 19 or frame 19, then it jumps to a lot of check marks all at once, and that's a mistake of mine. Maybe I merged them. Maybe I was just not careless to duplicate layers there. Nevertheless, let's say it is time to save this. So you'll go to File, Save for Web, and you'll go to Animate. If your file size is too big, sometimes it is, you might need to change the size. Now if you change the size here, you might get some blurriness and some unnecessary pixelation and compression. So you might as well press cancel. If you do need to change the size, go back into your image and resize it through your image size. Okay, so changing this down to maybe, let's say, 450 instead, and that'll decrease the size as well. Okay, so everything becomes smaller, and then you go back to Save for Web and retry it. So again, animate, make sure it's looping, make sure the frame delay is comfortable. Let's say test now that the little GIF is longer to see if 1.1 seconds is good. Yeah, I think I like that more. So I'm going to leave it at that and save it. So press OK. we are going to do ucash.mr-gothic.gif.example.gif. That's fine with me. Again, it's last name.first name dash whatever it is, and the extension is correct. So I'm going to save that there. I know that I've already saved it as a PSD, which is important. Save as a PSD is, I mean, it's your process, it's your working file. Now, this is my most recent update of this file, so yes, I do want to replace that old one. And you've saved both your GIF and your PSD.